This was a number of years ago. There was a gal that was in my primary Instagram account, and at one point she started accusing me of being a gatekeeper. And bear in mind, there's a lot of stuff I could teach you guys, and I refuse to because you'll corrupt it. But kids like to toss shit like that around when they're not willing to think for themselves as well. Another one, this is why I'm showcasing this dog shit, is kids will, rattle off things having to do with bait. Slowly, this may work. These are some of the brilliant comments people crapped out. Is he the king of bait? And there's 3 question marks. Then we got W bait. I'm sure that means something. Who the fuck knows? I urge you guys to think for yourselves, etc., etc., etc. If I sat with it, maybe I could figure it out. But what these kids are crapping out, really, I don't think is worth most people's time. Yeah. That does contradict what I'm urging you guys to do, and I'm well aware of that. Yeah. Somebody crapped out a cartoon. I fucking hate Family Guy. This kid said, bro's alternative universe Einstein, but if Einstein was schizophrenic, and a lot of people like to throw around schizophrenic too when they don't understand something. I don't know if you guys saw this already. If I can pause it. There we go. So this is what was his name? Max Spheres. He was a controlled opposition asset that told people that aliens are real, and a number of other bullshit controlled opposition narratives. He was a bag of garbage. Whether he's alive and well today, who knows? Most likely he was probably sacrificed because a martyr goes a long way. And when you're selling, alien propaganda to pave the way for a one world religion, people will talk about him, especially if he's, if he's been killed, murdered, he's dead. You see how I used words that reflect someone's passing? Yeah. Unlike most retarded, superficial internet babies today who cater to patently fascist censorship, some of you should know what I'm talking about, if you think about it. So I rattled off, Earth isn't a quote-unquote planet, and that's old school propaganda, mind you. In fact, quote-unquote planets don't exist. Wandering stars, however, govern reality, and that's pretty fucking crystal clear. To be perfectly honest, if you guys think about it. I'm telling you, planets don't exist. I put it in quotes so you understand that there's a word associated with this, which I have an issue with, which you would probably think of in terms of propaganda or something that, people handed you, trained you to repeat, that doesn't track, perhaps, and maybe you should look into it. If you did, one of the things you could do is look up the etymology. And if you did, it would lead to wandering stars. You could also just, research and use your fucking brain. So Crystal Carmen wrote me and said, how can you tell? And then she put a space between tell and the question mark for some reason. Maybe that was a mistake. Who knows? Maybe for emphasis, I don't know. I mean, it looks kind of neat, but that's not how she should have done it. Either way. So I was very obtuse and I wasn't very nice. I said, I'm not a brain dead sack of meat who isn't worth their salt. Because most people ask me to think for them. And some of you know I used to fucking cite references. And if you guys aren't, total bags of meat, I will help you to varying degrees. I'm more guarded these days than I used to be. But I'll still help some of you. I'll throw you bones every now and again. And I'm still leaving stuff online and doing things that just, it goes over people's heads because most people don't give a flying fuck. And we have all these, the world is very noisy these days. What people think of as the world, at least. The internet's full of just superficial slop. And that's what most people are going to spend their time on. So they assume that, I'm schizophrenic or this is bait or that I'm gatekeeping or what was the other example I rattled off earlier, instead of using the goddamn brain between their ears. I'm showcasing this because that's why things are bad. That's why things are going to get worse and worse and worse. No, I wrote a bunch of these kids. None of that matters. It's just me, taking a steaming dump on them because they took a shit in the comment section, in my humble opinion. Yeah. Young out. Thanks for hanging out. This is less than encouraging. I got a whopping 315 views, surprisingly. It's probably because this is an unbelievably short. Here. It didn't tell me how long. It's a short little clip. And that's why it was circulated. It also has a controlled opposition asset in there. The word planet is in there. And that's why the algorithm, shop this shit around to morons. Which is also why this is the target audience. Morons. What the fuck do I know? I'm censored on the DARPA internet. And this is Zionist TikTok. Technically speaking, the absolutely mean and nasty things I would like to say to people on here, and I was for fucking ever. Well, maybe not ever. That's not true. I haven't used this that long, and when I started out, I was doing it. It took the algorithm a while to pick up on who I am and what I'm about. And once that happened, the quote-unquote reach, the little bit that I had, steadily went downhill until it was damn near nothing. And then one account after another was burnt to the ground. My point being, you should be able to criticize people. You should. And you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want. Because freedom of speech is something you should be fighting for. Online and in real life. But people aren't. Once again, that goes back to all that noisy bullshit that you have to choose from. And people like me fall to the wayside and are ignored and or dismissed. Because most people are not cooking with fire. They can't use that brain between their ears. What the fuck do I know?